In terms of what you were just touching on there, Sheri, I mean, how many films do you think are killed because producers are so adamant that their film has to have a theatrical run?
Meaning that they turn down distribution if it's not going to have
Just
one?
meaning that maybe, they're so adamant that it has to play theatrically that maybe they hold the film back, or they squander certain opportunities in hopes that, okay, this is a theatrical film and it's going to screen theater, and they're just so stubborn about it that enough time passes that they lose all the momentum that they had built previously, that kind of thing.
Right. Yes, I do think that coming in with totally preconceived notions that are selfish motivations, not anything related to the realistic prospects that your film has, can be extremely detrimental. I mean, I've seen people coming to me out of the woodwork whose films have been out, ready, and played festivals in 2008. And now they're starting to think about, what can I do? And I go, that film is 5 years old now. I mean, it's known to be 5 years old. You had reviews at the festivals. It says on IMDb your film is 5 years old. It's really going to be hard to now try to launch it out into the market, a 5-year-old film that nobody heard of much then, but for sure has forgotten about now. So not to be so rigid in your thinking about how is the right way to put your film out. Be open to a lot of different opportunities, but then there's also that balancing of, I'm just going to put it on every free to watch site in the world, and then I want to have a broadcast deal, or I get an offer for a broadcast deal, except that I did this other thing and now that negates it. So you have to, it is really hard to make a decision about which is the right way to go. I think part of it is making sure that the film is as strong as it can be, and I think a lot of people don't do enough test screenings outside of their personal circle of people. They show it to their friends and their cousins and the people who worked on the movie, but they're not going to give you the most honest answer. What you should be doing is filling a room with 10 or 15 people who are in your target audience but don't have a personal stake in seeing a success of the film. And don't even tell them that you're the director or the producer, that this is just a group that's coming together to watch this film that you have, and take on board what they have to do, more than one, but really think about, if enough people are saying a certain thing, it's definitely worth paying attention to. And do this before you start sending things out to festival. You really want to have the strongest piece that you can before you put it out for judgment in the industry, because they often won't go, oh, I recut it and here's another cut, and you played that hand, and there's so many people behind you that they have to look at that you may not get that second chance. So you want to make it as strong as possible, but you want to be open to all the opportunities. Like I said to you, have a plan B, so that if you do have that big premiere and the deal doesn't come, or the deal comes and it's just not very good, you have an alternative. That just gives you leverage. When you go into that negotiation, you go, hey babe, I don't need you. I have my plan and I know what I'm gonna do. If you can up that, if you can build on that, let's see it. But otherwise, I'm not just taking this boilerplate thing you're sliding across the table at me, because I know what I have. I know that I have ways to get it out without your no advance partnership offer that you're pushing at me. And Ava DuVernay wrote about that with Middle of Nowhere. She said, I went into Sundance and I had my date. I knew when my film was coming out. Now, we entertain offers. I did have a sales agent, because I thought, if we get offered something that's better than that, we'll just take the money and give it back to the investors. We won't spend it. But it's there, and I have it, and I have a plan. And it even may be that that's what you want to negotiate with your distributor. I have my plan. Can you work within this? I can do these things on my own, but I need help with these things. Can you bring that? So you're very specific about what they're going to do and how much is going to be spent. Remember, whatever they spend, they have to recoup before you see any money after that. So you don't want it willy-nilly, spending as much as possible, because all that has to come back in before you get any money. Also, you don't want them spending nothing. You want to know, what's your plan? I have my plan. What's your plan? And so few distributors are used to being put on the spot. to know that, which to me is very bad business practice. You buy up titles, but you don't know what you're going to do with them. I don't know where did that come into practice, but it's very common, for them to go, well, we don't release that kind of information. Well, I don't sign an agreement until you tell me what's put it in writing. Whatever you're promising, putting in writing, and if you're not willing to do that, you're not a good partner. I'm not turning my baby over to you and trusting you with it because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're going to do. But you can't have that negotiation if you aren't ready to walk and have another outlet that you've already set up.